Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. For the first time, we are hearing from the band directors of the Eagle Regiment Marching Band since they made history performing in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But today we're also going to hear and see what one of the students from Margie Stoneman Douglas created about their story. And here's a look at it. In just a minute, we'll hear from both band directors, Steve Rivero and his son, Mr. Robert Rivero. And it's the first time we're hearing what else is coming next.
I believe that this program is one of the finest high school marching bands in the country. We look at high schools, colleges, cultural groups, you name it, and it's led us here to South Florida today.
It is a big honor, you know.
And it is with great pleasure that I announce today that for the first time in this school's history,
this is probably one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing that's ever happened to this band program.
the Stoneman Douglas High School Eagle Regiment has been selected to represent the great state of Florida and perform.
And it's an accolade that not many programs in the country can post.
In New York City in the 2023 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
We knew that that they were applying to be in the parade, but we didn't know for sure. We didn't have any information about it, so everyone was really excited.
When we first found out, it was such a huge shock for us because it was something that our band director had talked about so many times, but we didn't actually think that it was going to happen to us and that we would be selected to perform. And the announcement was huge. I mean, we had a representative come down and it was all like confetti and streamers, and it was just such a big surprise.
So for Macy's, we actually started it before our competition season ended. We kind of got a look at the music. We started working on the music some in class. Then we started to stage the show outside. And then we really started to figure out that we needed more time.
So we had our marching band show that we had to make and do competitions with, which is completely separate from the Macy's show. So right after we did our BOA regional in Orlando, we moved straight into Macy's. We switched gears into all of the production, learning the music, the visual stuff, and that was, it was kind of offsetting at first because we just finished doing the show and it was like, what do we do now?
Otherwise, it's so close. You hear me? It's so close. I had a yes in there. Please, one.
I think everybody realizes that it's a much bigger deal than we originally thought. I mean, marching in a parade, that's pretty straightforward, but when you have to do that production at the end, it's like a mini version of your competition show. And it's got to be really detail-oriented for it to be all that. The first one was awesome, a lot of excitement. We're staging the show. We use an app called UDB, Ultimate Drill Book. So everybody goes on there and we'll say, go set up page 1.
Right, we're working towards page 5, which is where our cover dogs are.
And then they march it, then they simulate playing the music, so they kind of sing it, and then eventually we start to play it, and then we kind of build on it. The difference though is like we're not on a football field, we're on a tarp.
So the biggest issues is that like on a football field there are like yard lines that we can go off of, but on the actual tarp that we're going to be using, there's not really lines, so you just kind of have to align yourself with other people. So it's a lot more trust in each other and making sure that other people are right so that way you can fix your own dot.
I just know we've spent the past few months just strictly working on our competition season, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this, but it's going to be a long road ahead of us.
Then it's about individual practice, okay, and what you're doing outside of here, you know? And when you get together in rehearsal, it's rehearsal for everybody, not individuals. And when we're having to stop because musicians can't play their music, or maybe some people forgot the counts and the count structure, or maybe they're just being high school kids and not listening when we receive the instructions of what the rep is going to be.
Immediately after our first practice, we realized we had a lot to focus on. Doing a stage show compared to a marching show on a field is completely different. There's no guidelines, the spacing is completely different, and the way that all the different players are moved across like the space makes everything sound different. So we have to work on rebalancing everything completely.
Practice today was honestly not so great, and that's kind of been the theme recently. Recently we've had a lot of like talking and performance issues and just not listening on the field. So we really just have to hammer down. It's not like this is an unfixable issue. We just really have to work together and make sure that everybody's tracking and everybody's on the same team.
So those are always the struggles, you know. It's like we always tell our band students, it's very easy to get from here to here in the band world. Anybody can do it, okay? But it's about getting from here to up here.
So when we first started rehearsing, I don't think anyone understood the significance of going to perform in the Macy's parade. And now that we're, I think, a week away from today, everyone realizes that this is a big deal. Everyone's going to be watching.
So the issues we face today, people who don't care. This place is like a family to a lot of us, and we all put a lot of passion and a lot of time into what we do here. So the people who don't care and the people who don't practice and the people who don't know their stuff, they kind of make everyone upset and they throw off the vibe around here.
Everybody in any performing discipline, you hit kind of a wall at a certain point, or let's say that peaking hits you, and that's where your design team and your directors and your staff have to be really creative to tap the most potential out of each individual.
For next practice, our goal is just to be more honed in and to focus more. A lot of what I said our issues are focus. People aren't paying attention and people aren't listening, and you learn something one rep and then you forget it the next one, and the directors are saying the same things over and over again. So once we get everybody locked in and on the same page, that's all it's going to take to make next practice even better.
Your sounds have to be much better than they just were. Parker, stop talking. When you turn your horn to the front, we got to be cognizant.
So sometimes it comes through some tough love, sometimes it comes through some added video assignments, and some degree of added pressure on everybody to not let their team down, and they have to, you know, get their individual stuff in order so that it makes the big thing great. So where we are now, the show's already all done, and it's like now it's just putting icing on the cake. You know, we're just really trying to add in all the little things that make the big thing great.
I can definitely tell like a lot of people are realizing like the etiquette we need to have and the focus we need to have on the field. I think that it's getting better. And as people are getting better, it's just one or two people just sticking out now. So it's really obvious when someone's not buying into it.
So that's kind of where we are right now. 3 rehearsals left before we leave, and a performance in full uniform this Thursday night. So a lot of excitement, you know. So those are they kind of parallel the first rehearsal and where we are now. The in-between is what's a little different.
We definitely improved on just moving together as a group in a smaller space, because we usually have like a whole football field, and now we only have like the small part of Herald Square for 162 people. We also improved on just music overall.
Our show has gotten exponentially better today. It was kind of a jumbled mess. You know, we've only had a couple practices with it so far, but I think today everyone was trying harder than they have before, and it was clearly an improvement. Everyone was happier, the practice seemed to go by faster, and I think if we just keep going on this track, it's going to be a lot better in the future.
We are very honored to be in the parade, and we are just wishing for great weather. We're wishing for an incredibly memorable performance out of our students. Like, it's an incredible family, and that's why we got the nod to perform in this parade, and that's why I think that everything's lining up to be an incredible, life-changing experience for everyone.
I'm really excited. I love New York. I've been to New York before, but going as a group is going to be really exciting.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I can't even believe that I have the chance to perform in New York City on Thanksgiving in the Macy's Day Parade.
I am very confident that we're going to do a great job at Macy's. The Eagle Regiment, and especially Stoneman Douglas, we've got a lot to show to the world, and I'm sure we're going to do that on Thanksgiving Day.
Parade. Can't wait to see you guys on TV. Have a great time. Happy Thanksgiving.
So the day of the performance, 2 a.m., okay, 2 a.m. Thursday morning, we will all be in the lobby of the hotel, dressed, and we will make our way to 34th Street, Herald Square, and we have a quick 10-minute rehearsal with NBC. It's going to be the first time that we get on that street, and so we'll be able to go out, practice our on a couple of times to make sure that they find that first set the right way. And then we'll run the production a couple of times, hopefully, and then we'll run the exit a couple of times. And then if anything seems a little strange, we can go ahead and just play that little section just to make sure that it works out. It gives the NBC people a chance to see what they want to focus on in our production. And it gives us a chance to rehearse in the actual venue. So it's like a 10-minute rehearsal. They call that the overnight rehearsal. After that rehearsal happens on that Thursday morning, maybe we're looking at, 4 in the morning now, something like that. We're going to go to our breakfast spot, and we will eat breakfast, and then we'll get back on the bus, and we'll head out to Central Park to the staging area of the parade and wait.
Congratulations to the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Eagle Regiment. Guys, you have made history again, and I know we keep saying that, but you have made history again. Congratulations. Enjoy tonight. Happy Thanksgiving.
One of the things that we've spoken about since we came to MSD 5 years ago was putting our program in our school in a positive light, so that when MSD comes up in conversation, maybe it will be about the way that they performed in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
It's been an incredible journey to come so far in such a short time. Our efforts were undoubtedly worth it, and performing on that national stage was the biggest thing our band has ever done. These memories will definitely be cherished by the Eagle Regiment forever.
So joining me now to talk more about that incredible story is Mr. Steve Rivero and his son Robert Rivero. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us on, Jacqueline.
It was just an incredible time. I mean, I still think about it because I was there, right? And I got to see what you did, all the work that you put into it, and then to see the way Matthew brought that, from his point of view, I just thought it was extraordinary.
Yeah, we're still, I think, trying to pinch ourselves to see if that was a dream, the way everything rolled out and how everything went. But it wasn't a dream, it was real. And again, we're just feeling really thankful that everything went the way that it did.
Can you talk about what stood out to you the most? I mean, even, it's been a few months since this time. And what about that experience, just the preparation of getting everyone in place and then that moment it happened? What stood out to you the most? Was it the preparation or the moment?
No, what stood out most, I think, was actually being on Herald Square and seeing our students do the finale rehearsal at 4 a.m. and then going through that actual parade, which you never really see on TV, and you're seeing the huge amounts of spectators that were present, and then you're actually seeing the finale live that people are seeing on TV. I think to me that's what stood out the most. The preparation thing was a big challenge, but it's one that we really took on like we do when we do our planning of our productions for the marching band. We do it in a sequential way. We do it with a certain amount of time, and then we start to figure out how much time we have to put everything together, and then what are the things that we need to do. And again, working with our team here is a blessing because everybody knows their role and everybody knows what to do, and that's why we were able to put that together alongside while we were finishing our current marching season that we were in.
Robert, what was your moment? What would you say? Was it the beginning or the process or the actual parade itself?
It was probably the actual parade itself for me. It was pretty surreal when we were on Herald Square the morning of. I think we were there like 3:30 in the morning or something like that, and being there, and it was literally just us on Herald Square with the news team doing the blocking for the TV production, and it was definitely emotional on a lot of levels because we Mr. Rivera says it all the time. Everybody watches that parade as a kid growing up, so for us to be there was just really special, and I think everybody shared that sentiment.
And one thing that I was thinking, here you are, you both are walking, you're in the parade, no, unlike any other parade. I mean, because of the amount of people. And there you were waving and smiling. What was that like to hear the crowds and, people, and even when the families that were there screaming your name, as you were walking by? What was that like? Mr. Rivero.
Got to come off mute. Okay, I came off mute. That was the coolest thing, especially when you're looking out there and you're seeing people that are wearing Eagle Regiment merch. And that was really cool to see that. And we would even try to go over quickly and give a hug or take a quick picture with some family members while we were doing it. And the amount of people that traveled to New York with the Eagle Regiment, that was amazing as well, because I think everybody realized how special that was for this school and for all of our students and families.
And what would, one of the things, I'm particularly proud of is just that it was documented. The media was there documenting it. And I have to tip my hat to them because they didn't have to be there. And every one of them in this market was there to document this time. And to me, that was just extra special that from now on, that history is going to be there. And so, even before the parade, they came, during some of the announcements. And so I thought that was particularly great, just having that.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's a chance for our students to look back and show their families later on in life that hey, look, I was in this iconic parade. And then I'll just say on a special note, in watching that parade all these years and growing up, we were extremely special and unique. Okay, we wanted to really stick out and be memorable. Mr. R wrote, Robbie wrote a fantastic arrangement of the Polar Express, the music that we did. Our team put together a great package, and I think we were just that. I think we were memorable, and that's what we wanted to have happen. We received tons of phone calls and messages after that parade and days after the parade as well. And again, a huge thing for all of us. Okay. And then as band directors, that's something that just doesn't happen. You can't even say that's a bucket list item because it just doesn't happen to everybody. It's not, something that like, okay, it's a bucket list to go to this particular contest in this particular city in the United States. No, you have to really get accepted, and there's a lot of people that apply every single year. So this was, yeah, a dream come true.
Well, clearly, I mean, I was shocked to hear that you were the first band from Broward County, as big as this county is, to go. And, you're right, Mr. Rivero, that it was a unique performance. It's not a performance that I've seen any other time. And so, Robert, can you talk about actually, creating that music and what made you want to do that in the first place, and how did you do it?
Sure. So we, in the early stages of it, we were going back and forth on kind of what we were wanting to do. And my wife and I were watching the Polar Express, and she said, "What do you think about the Polar Express?" And I came back to Mr. Rivero and Mr. Broadbent and said, "Well, what do you guys think about the Polar Express?" And it kind of just was, everybody's, the light bulbs went off, so we kind of took it and ran with it from there. We chose some of our favorite music from the movie, our favorite scenes, and tried to develop our own show with that. And yeah, that's kind of how it happened. It was super exciting to be able to arrange it for our kids, just because it's, when I'm writing that music, I'm kind of hearing our kids playing it already, because I know their ability levels and who can do what. So as I was writing, it was really special because I'm like, well, I know that this individual can do X, Y, and Z. So I wrote some things in there for some specific individuals. So it was really definitely one of the biggest honors that I could have, being able to write something that was played on that scale.
Well, speaking of honors, I'll tell you, I've been a band mom a while, and until I came to, or my son, or, and now my daughter, but my son at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and watching, participating in the competitions at the level that you were playing. I've never been more excited to go to a combat band competition, and really trying to bring that flavor to other people, to understand that these band competitions are so exciting to watch. I mean, my mom, she comes and she can't wait. She's like, when is the next one, And so can you talk about the importance of supporting these programs, especially at the level that you're playing, and how important it is to them? Because the way you train, not one of those students will be left without leadership skills. And I think, that's tremendous. So what are your thoughts on that, Mr. Steve Rivero, I guess I should say?
Yeah, I was ready to hear Robbie answer that.
Oh, either one, whoever wants to speak on it.
I think I'll start and I'll let him finish. But I think that everything that we do goes on the premise that we always talk about. It is that this is a student-led program. We're just the directors, and then we have different roles and responsibilities and expectations for all the students, and they all seem to matriculate and they move the right way. When we graduate a class, you've got a next group that's ready to fulfill those roles. And it's a beautiful thing when it's a student-led program, and it is. Of course, you got to have directors at the top and staff members and stuff like that. But when you have students that that know what the rhythm is of things and how things go, well, it becomes very, let's say, aiding to the machine. It works the right way because many times we'll be taking care of some logistics inside before we head out. But we'll get a call or a message from one of the leaders saying, "Hey, we're ready to go. We already started stretch. They're already starting to set up warm up block." It's a great thing that's in place, is what I would tell you. And a lot of people don't realize how important that part of it is.
Yeah, and they take those roles seriously. I've seen them in action. What do you have to say on that, Robert?
Just to echo Steve a little bit, I think that I think Steve does a really amazing job at empowering these students to feel like they have stock in our program. And the more that you feel like you have stock in something, the more you feel like you want to invest in it, and these students definitely feel like they want to invest in our program, which is really special. And you don't quite get that everywhere at every single band program. So I think we really pride ourselves on that here at Stoneman Douglas. And our students really take pride in that as well. It's pretty amazing. Like he was mentioning, there are some days that we're tied up in the office in meetings or whatever, and they'll be out there and they'll start rehearsal without us, and they'll make sure that if somebody's struggling with learning a few pages of drill or learning some music, they're out there helping each other, and that's a really special thing to see. And I think that that makes us unique in this field.
Well, we've been a part of since being a part of Marjory Stoneman Douglas since I've been there. I mean, you guys started the year last year at London's New Year's Day parade, and ended the year at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. How do you move forward? I'm like, what's next? I did see, Italy has a New Year's Day parade. I put that out there. What comes next, or what's on the agenda? What are we looking at for next year? What do you want to encourage, others to join you, be a part of it, or even just a part of your team, the Eagle Regiment program? Donate to them.
Well, the Italy thing is definitely intriguing. The Rome thing, our friend Larry Shane, who's the director of bands at West Boca, they just did that trip.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I shared it.
Yeah, he's the one that recommended us going to London, and we finally did London, and that was absolutely amazing. And again, to think that a school just went to London in January of 2023, and then in November of 2023, the next school year, but still the same year, we take another very large trip on airplanes to go and perform on that biggest stage in New York. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was amazing. And then a lot of people would say what you just said. Yeah, well, what's next? So, unfortunately, just like everything in life, there's some twists and turns that come into play. But there's a vision always that's present, and has been present here. So our vision, one of the aspects of our vision when we arrived here 5 years ago, was to get Stoneman Douglas on the national stage as far as the marching band and the band program is concerned. So we're going to take our second trip to Grand Nationals, Bands of America Grand Nationals in Indianapolis, Indiana, this coming November. However, like I said, that thing about some changes, well, we were recently advised that we were not going to be able to have two band directors at this school anymore. And that's just simply because what's reality in the world, and that's cuts. And it's a shame because we, when I say we, I mean the country, we're making cuts in places that are the wrong places to make cuts in. And I'm going to come out there and say it. Cutting music education, cutting band arts discipline is the wrong thing to do. Let me say that again. It's the wrong thing to do. We're messing with artistry and a different side of the brain that's needed for the other side of the brain to do everything else that's possible in the world and everything that's kind and humane and the right things to do. But unfortunately, that's above my pay grade and anybody else's pay grade that's on this call right now. However, 10 years from now, somebody's going to wake up and say, wow, well, we cut this. We shouldn't have done that. And we have to go back and put that in. And then there'll be a learning curve again. At any rate, we're fortunate that there's always some different contingency plans. So, here with Stoneman Douglas, we have an incredible booster program. And while one of the positions is being cut next year, Mr. R is going to stay and he's going to continue the legacy. And the booster program, they're doing some things to put some accommodations in place to assist the one band director, Mr. R, to include me, even coming in, as a part-time type thing afterwards. Of course, I'm finishing 29 years of teaching coming up. Mr. R's finishing 5 years of teaching coming up. So, that's one of the factors of making the decision that, he would be the one to stay here. However, it certainly doesn't come without, some sorrow. And the last 5 years, the amount of positivity that we have brought to this school. And I say that again, the amount of positivity and positive press that we have brought to this school in the past 5 years, you can't even put a number on that, or even a sentiment. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So at any rate, things are going to go on. But yeah, what is it that's next? Well, we need to try and perform 3 times. At Grand Nationals. That's a tall order to do. We performed 2 times, prelims and semifinals, our first year going 2 years ago, which that's exactly what our goal was, because you are in the company of the greatest programs in the country. And to come out 23rd, like we did out of 100 last time, 101, is amazing on a first time going. So we are, preparing. We have a wonderful show. Mr. R started the music already. For the new production. Our design team is really excited about this production. I'm incredibly excited about the production. We all are. And we're going to begin that process here sooner than we all think, as we're trying to finish up this current school year. So those are my quick thoughts on what it is to come. And, we always just try and be better than we were yesterday. And that's kind of the philosophy I think that we have here.
Well, one of the things I do share, or my show goes out to the business community. And one of the reasons why I think this show is so important is for people to understand these music programs. I mean, what he's talking about, this hand in hand with engineering, hand in hand with robotics, this is all creatives. And even if they cut in one place, we can still keep things any kind of way we want, because we are the private sector. We are the business community, and we can donate, participate, give whatever is needed to take care of what's needed. And so for me personally, this is let's step up and do whatever is needed, so that the program, wherever you live, is not cut, because that's insane. I've witnessed so much from this band, and I tell you, I know Mr. R is incredible. And the two of you, and not only that, you got other sons in the band, it's just been incredible to watch. And my point is, make sure that nothing like this happens in your community, but make sure that what's needed for this community, Parkland, Coral Springs, and the surrounding area, that we take care of what needs to be done here. And I just want to put my little 2 cents in on that. As well, because Mr. R is going to need that support far from, whenever you're, ready to do what you're going to do. But we want to make sure that we are running at full capacity in these areas, because like I said, not one student that you guys have been leading is going to leave there without leadership skills, without stamina. They're going to be able to do things, like you said, proactively on their own. They're not going to have to be told what to do. If there's one area where my son was like on it, it would be like, I gotta be there because it's band. It could be anything else, not on time. Band, gotta be there, or try to be there, whatever it was, because there were consequences. So he learned that, through band. And I'm not I know you're a military background. I have come from a military background, but my son does not. So bless him. But I love what he's doing now. So, but again, even starting his own band, right? Even getting into his own band. So looking forward to that. I don't want to leave without, if there's anything else that you want to talk about, share, with all the other people who participate with you, the color guard, your volunteers, or anything else, all the instruments that were donated this year, to make
Sure.
maybe
Yeah.
possible.
I'm
Anything.
glad to share a little bit about that because we are finishing up our school year, and we did have an incredible boost from the community and our booster program. But obviously, we still are in need of things. We came up with like a wish list of some things that we really felt we needed for this school year, and then we came up with like a 5-year projection of what are the things that are needed, because let's face it, we do not get that financial support from the county on things. Some of the instruments that we recently acquired were replacing instruments that had the serial number from the opening of this school in 1990. So, I mean, that's a long time, and cars don't make it really that long either, because stuff happens. Well, it's the same thing with instruments. So, while we were blessed to receive 8 new sousaphones this year, 18 marching baritones, 12, I think it was, mellophones, and then a great amount of concert percussion, 5 marimbas. This was a big thing that was spearheaded really through our booster program, and then we reached out to the community and our principal, of course, and everybody kind of came together and pitched in to it. But we're going to have to start that process again and now come up with the things that we weren't able to acquire. But the cup is a little dry, if you know what I mean, because we put forward all those different things. I'll tell you that we have a program here in Parkland Coral Springs area that has great potential to be in the top 12 in the country in the marching band arena. And that's what they take. They take the best 12 to perform in finals at this Grand Nationals thing. We have it. However, we're still young in it because we just got into that arena. So we're still learning and still adapting, but we have great students, we have great parents, and we have obviously a great band director in Robert, okay, to be leading all this stuff. So this school does definitely have the potential and the destiny to do those things, but we definitely need the backing, both I think from a standpoint of just support any way possible, and then financial support as well.
Yeah, and I've been running this along the bottom, this ticker, eagleregiment.com. There's places where you can donate, on that site as well, or, even, contact Mr. Riveros, either of the Riveros directly. Mr. R, as we know to call you. Is there anything else you wanted to share as we're wrapping up here?
No, nothing really from my end. I think Mr. Rivera speaks very eloquently, so it's hard to follow him. But just to kind of echo some of his words, it's a really unfortunate situation that we were presented, and we are putting our best foot forward, and we're going to do our best to keep everything rolling just as it has been, and keep the trajectory looking strong for Stoneman Douglas and the community of Parkland and Coral Springs.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I was finally glad to get my chance, to have you on.
Yeah. Hey, one more bit of really cool information. Our color guard right now is in the process to get ready to go to WGI World Championships in Ohio. Our percussion group, indoor percussion group, doing the same, getting ready to go to Ohio. So color guard, I believe, is leaving like the first week of April, and then into the third week of April is when percussion goes. But right in the middle of that, our wind orchestra and jazz band are going to be doing a trip to Orlando. Our jazz band is going to be playing at Disney Springs. Going to do a concert there, and then our wind orchestra is going to perform in the University of Central Florida Music for All in conjunction with Music for All, which is Bands of America, an invitational that's being hosted at the Dr. Phillips Center, and we will be performing in the beautiful Steinmetz Hall on Wednesday, April the 10th. And then in true fashion, like we always talk about, we have to have fun with everything we're doing. We're all going to go out to Disney the next day on Thursday to celebrate that. But all that stuff costs money.
Yes, it does.
All that stuff costs money. And, it's unfortunate, but it does. It costs money. And there's a constant fundraising effort that's always going on because we don't want to leave anybody behind. So I just wanted to mention that those things are kind of going on right now. And then we will have our end of year concert coming up. Both of our concert groups just finished performing their district evaluation, and both received straight superior ratings. The Symphonic Winds and then the Wind Orchestra both received straight superior ratings at the district music performance assessment that just took place Wednesday, March the 13th. It was hosted at Monarch High School. And again, a school that just has, the amount of things going on that we have going on, it's just difficult to see all those things happen with one person at the helm. But unfortunately, that's just the way that it is. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It's still early. It's not the end of the year yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm that person who is always like, we'll just see. We'll just see what they said. We'll see what we'll just see. If the community responds, we'll just see. And because a lot of times they just don't know. A lot of times they really just don't know, and they don't realize it until it's gone. And so right now you still have an opportunity to do something about it. And so I just wanted to share that. So thank you both again for joining me, and we'll just get this message on out there. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Thank you. Have a
Thank
great day.
you.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.